Guys, it's time to start the show. Here we go. Oh shoot. And welcome to the World Studio Tour.
Brought to you by PTZOptics.
Hey everybody, welcome to the World Studio Tour. We are so happy to have you. We're taking you on a tour of our studio right now, and we're super excited to have you. And today we are taking you to New York City, to the LiveX studios in Hudson Yards on the west side of Manhattan.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of studios. We went over to Oregon. We've been to New York. Where else have we been?
We have been all over the place. Got the intro music off. We've been all over the place. California and Los Angeles. And we're going from LA right to New York this week, and it's going to be fun.
This is all about showing you guys, you know, some really cool, highly produced production studios to give you inspiration, ideas, whether you're starting from scratch or you just want to upgrade your space. So we hope that this is helpful for you in your studio planning.
Yeah. So should we go ahead and introduce our guest?
Let's do it.
So we have with us Rob from LiveX. How you doing, Rob?
Hey guys, how you doing? Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you.
I'm already liking what I'm seeing here, and I can't wait to dig into this.
Yeah, cool. So we can get right into it pretty much. So we're LiveX. We're a production company on the west side of Manhattan. We specialize in live video. We built this studio to a 12G SDI infrastructure to support 4K 60p live productions, along with our we have 4K switcher I'll walk you through in a second, as well as our elemental 4K encoder as well for streaming 4K. But right now I'm in the studio itself, and as you can see behind me, we have a Rigi track curtain. We have it in white as well as black. Could you turn the house lights on for me? Right here. Yeah. So let me get the house lights up to give you a better. So we have green, our black curtain, and our white curtain. And the white curtain essentially can give you anything that you want because of, I don't know if we can see this, but these guys right here. So these are, I'm sorry for the shaky video, but these are Kino Freestyle RGB LED DMX panels that allow us to put whatever color we want and make our background a different color as needed. Also, one of the coolest things about our studio is this window feature that is at a 21-degree angle to allow us to shoot into it and not reflect the cameras or the lights back. As you can tell right now, I have a bunch of light and cameras and stuff, you know, all in the background here where you don't see them in the window. So that angle is really important whenever you're building your studio. If you have a window feature, if you want that newsroom kind of a look. We need a sound effect for that, like pro tip.
Ding. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, the curtain system is really vital to give you like a quick set anytime you need a set, rather than dealing with building a new wall flat or whatever. Obviously, every studio isn't complete without some sort of big TV. So this is a giant 4K TV to display our 4K content, because once again, it's a 4K studio. We have a lot of soundproofing and other things in here. We have some gobos. I'll show you a gobo on the ground as well that we have for LiveX. But yeah, we just wanted to. So these are Birdies, little LED ellipsoidals.
Oh.
So they project a graphic?
And the gobo is the graphic that is made out of metal that lets that be projected in light on the ground. Same thing going on behind me in the curtain back here.
Yeah.
So again, I'm walking around with my laptop, so I apologize if the video is too shaky for you guys. One of the key features of our studio are 4.6K Ursa Mini Pro cameras with Canon EF glass, and we also have the Vit and Vantage robotic control system. So this is a brand new robotic system from Vinton that we were really excited about at NAB. And from what Vinton tells us, we are the first studio in the country with them. They allow us to do shot recall, shot saving, stuff like that for programmable moves. And it's really, you know, an easy way for the technical director or whoever's directing the show in the back, or if we have a robo-op for a show, that they can reposition cameras and things of that nature without having to have a manned operator on these cameras. Once again, they're usually talk shows, so you don't necessarily need to move the cameras around a lot, but change framing as people move and stuff like that. So for doing a short staff studio production, Vinton Vantage is a really flexible system that has a lot of cool features, length control, and allows you to control like zooms and moves and other things, and you can recall shots by storing like thumbnails of those moves. Similar to a lot of other PTZ systems, although it allows you to use whatever camera you want on it pretty much. So we have, yeah, there's 3 Ursa Mini Pros stock in the studio at all times. We do have more, but I'll take you outside. We have DMX lighting grid in there, obviously. Every studio is complete with an on-air light. Right. And I'll take you around to our control room. So here we are in the control room. As you can see behind me, we have our monitor wall and our switcher and graphics system, our master clock, our Sony OLED monitor for color control. And over in this area, we have audio system as well as our main engineering rack. And then as we continue down the line, back here in the back bench, we have graphics systems and encoding systems to send shows out live. We also have a fiber circuit here with all mobile video that gets us Encompass, gets us the switch. We can do full remotes here, so we can have somebody come in and direct a show that's happening in a different part of the country with the cameras mux and demux back here. So that's another good thing. I know I'm just going on and on, so feel free to stop me at any time. I got a lot to get through here, so I'm gonna just keep going until you tell me to stop. So anyway, down here, this is the ATEM 2ME 4K broadcast studio panel. It is a 2ME switcher that has 20 12G SDI inputs that gives us up to 4K 60p. And as well on the ATEM, we can control color with DaVinci Resolve micro panel here. So with the BlackMagic Ursa Mini Pros and the ATEM system, we can control color live with DaVinci color wheels right in here. So that's one of the coolest things about ATEM. That's one of the things I like the most about it, is having DaVinci color wheels inside of your live environment. Very rare. Nobody's doing this right now, so we're pretty excited about it. Nobody's really taking advantage of the full compendium of Ursa cameras with ATEM software and DaVinci color control for 4K live right now. I can show you what that looks like. So this is the interface of the ATEM system, and I can move color wheels. I don't know if you can tell, but that numbers moving and stuff on the camera 1 right there. Yeah, so that gives us a lot of flexibility while we're live to create looks and make it look good and all that. So yeah, one of the coolest parts, I'm going to set this kind of back here while I go through one of the next things that we have to talk about. I'm going to unplug my headphones. I apologize about some audio issues, but one of the biggest problems that you have with getting your getting to the back of your engineering rack is pulling it out, especially in a studio like this where we don't have it living in a server room somewhere. We want everything accessible. So we found this really cool Martin rack at NAB last year. and we release it with 2 clips, and then it pulls out. And
Oh my gosh.
to give us access to the back, I'll show you what that looks like.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is the heart of our engineering for our 4K live system. Everything's labeled, zip tied, cable managed. We got fans and everything like that. So yeah, the Martin rack is definitely one of the coolest things that we have in this control room. Just because we don't have to worry about, obviously this is many hundreds of pounds to be able to like try and pull it out from the wall every time we need to do some maintenance would be a problem. So we'll leave that in. I'm gonna plug my headphones back in to give you a little better audio. I apologize if there's a little pop here. Okay, so moving along to the encoding side of things, down here, sorry, I know this is kind of crazy. Down here we have 2 production bot racks, which run vMix. This is our QuickLink Skype multi-TX Skype machine, and then we also have production bot Switch 8, which is a new product that runs vMix. vMix got out of the hardware game, and so production bot is certified by vMix with HAA Corvid cards, and we use vMix for a lot of our encoding and graphic systems and things like that. We actually have another graphic system, another production bot system over here, and this is Audio Land. So right now we just have this Behringer X32 in here. Most of the time it's just a couple of lavs or whatever that we're mixing, and maybe some music and playback. As you can see up here, there's a bunch of embedders and de-embedders. Again, mostly BlackMagic products there, and Shure receivers as well. So we'll take another look at scopes and engineering. Oh, there's a T-Rax up top, which is a Teradek product. I don't know why I can't get my horizon straight. You know, I've operated cameras for many years, but operating a laptop is quite the challenge.
You're doing good.
So,
yeah. I wonder if they have stabilizers
so,
for laptops.
That would be cool. That would be cool. We had to daisy chain or work in and out of 3 12G 40 by hubs to make this studio work. We are waiting for Blackmagic to release a larger 12G hub, but their larger hubs are only 3G SDI, I believe, maybe 6G, but I think they're only 3G SDI. We have HyperDex for records, and then we have a big 4RU encoder here, as well as our custom, or not custom, but our ClearCom matrix system. So our ClearCom matrix system allows us to interface with not only our panels here in the control room, so you can see next to the switcher, we have a panel here. We can talk to talent or anything in the road. Here's our Green Bay office, which is where Corey spends a lot of his weekends for Packers games. So we can talk to him. He can actually come in and stage announce into the studio when he sees us working in there or whatever, from when he's enjoying a little bit of relaxing time in Green Bay. Yeah, our ClearCom matrix system allows us to interface with trucks all over the world, as well as we have on mobile productions, we take our Pico ClearCom box that will allow us, we connect it to IP, we connect it to internet, and we can connect back directly to our comm system here in the studio. Lastly, we have playback and encoding coming off of our Evo system, which, as you can see, let me get this right. So in this whisper rack in here, we have We have our encoder at the top, as well as our Evo system that we can write to and play back off of for anything that we need to do here in the studio. So that, in a nutshell, is our crazy 4K studio here at LiveX.
We still have to ask the question, though.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of questions in the chat.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of questions. Usually we do a Q&A at 2:20, so like if there's anything else you want to show us, you can go ahead. But yeah, okay. I mean, I had some questions.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of questions. I mean, we did some major engineering feats here, so feel free to. This is fire them
for me. This is one of the first times, like when I go to these broadcast NAB stuff, and they go like acquisition, workflow, like all these different areas. Like now I'm starting to realize like why there's so many different products, and it's amazing to see them all kind of like one. Like here's your studio to the streaming to the encoding to the playback. It was really interesting to see it all kind of flow, because sometimes I'm just looking for, like, me personally, like in our studio, a couple cameras or like a microphone or like vMix, or a monitor, and it's amazing to see like all of that and like someone actually using pretty much every toy in the toolbox. It's really
impressive. And really
cool. We've learned a lot over the years. We've built a lot of studios for clients. I would say maybe, 20-30% of our business is systems integration, where we'll go out and build a studio for a client. A lot of times it's when they're starting a new serialized daily or weekly show that they need some help to get going, and so we'll build out the studio, we'll show them how to run a live show, we'll maybe staff it with director, TD, audio person, and maybe some camera people to get them going and get until they get staffed up and find the right people, and then we'll just continue on in a consulting role from there to help them as they grow and progress and build more control rooms and more studios. So everything in the studio was built on our experience with building those studios and doing a lot of daily and weekly live shows. We currently staff 2 daily shows, as well as we run, I think, 8 or so serialized weekly shows. And so we have a lot going on a regular basis. But the core of our business is also to go out and do product launches and big events. We handled all the second screen streaming for the Democratic National Convention last year, the U.S. Open this year, the U.S. Open of Golf in Erin Hills, Wisconsin, as well as I've done the last 2 big DJI product launches for the Mavic last year and the Spark this year at Grand Central. So we do go out in the field, and all of our stuff is kind of built on that experience of what works for us with creating a lean setup that can produce optimum quality. 4K was big for us in building this new studio because we are getting a lot more requests for it, and there really is no other turnkey 4K studio in New York City that's ready to go live, 4K, live. So we wanted to offer that to our clients, and we've had some really cool things in here. We did an album launch for St. Vincent, who's a Grammy Award-winning artist, a couple weeks ago in here. We had another Latin Grammy artist in here. The name escapes me right now. And then we are working on creating some of our own shows as well in here. So yeah, it's a good space for us. It's a fun place to play, and fun for us to get our hands dirty, and also train some of our newer staff up on how to use the things we regularly use in the field and at our client sites.
Wow.
I bet. Wow, that's amazing. And a lot of the feedback we're getting is just like sheer amazement. Robert says, I'm impressed, and I'm never impressed.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a tough studio to top especially this early on in our studio tour, where we're going to Europe soon and going all around the world. This is going to be a tough one to top. Why don't we go ahead and roll the credits, since it is 2:20, and give people some time to develop those questions. There are definitely some questions in here that we haven't gotten to yet. But let's roll the credits, and then in the post-show, we got more than a handful of questions to ask you. So here we go.
Great.
Steal your elevator. Okay, coming back from the World Studio Tour here. We just took you into LiveX New York City on the west side of Manhattan. We were just there yesterday.
I'm kicking myself so bad right now
we
for not being like, let's find out where LiveX is and see if we can possibly be there, because I would have been taking notes.
Oh my gosh. We have a ton of questions in the chat room. We're going to go ahead and ask. And this is a full 4K studio. It's crazy. Baynard just took us through the whole thing. We do have a giveaway that we're going to do at 2:25, PTZOptics.com/giveaway. But let's get into some of the questions. Here's one for you. We have to ask. And we actually had Corey Benke on the show. And I didn't see any NewTek products in there, but are you using the NewTek NDI in any way, shape, or form in your studio?
You won't find NewTek. You won't find any NewTek products in here. I do work on NewTek products on a regular basis, but you know, I use the TriCaster 8000 when I direct shows at Vox Media for SB Nation, The Verge, Mr. Robot Digital After Show. I use the TriCaster 8000. We're not using any NDI in that workflow, though. You know, NDI has gotten better. I've seen some promising things with like Photoshop over NDI, After Effects over NDI. I think for general graphic designers who are trying to figure out how to get their stuff into broadcast graphics, used to be a very difficult thing. I think NDI is going to make that a lot simpler. But early on, there was quite a few bugs with, you know, I remember the first NDI scan converter that came out from NewTek that would allow you to bring a laptop feed into your production. I put it on a brand new MacBook Pro. Instantly, the CPU usage would spike to 96% and it would crash. So, you know, I really think NDI has a lot of promise, as well as, you know, the AIMS workflows. It'll be interesting to see where IP video goes in the next few years. But for right now, baseband video is the most reliable thing you can do to move signal around.
Yeah, and that's hard to argue with. You know, Corey was telling us how it's compressed video, and he was really, you know, it was shocking almost, his review of NDI, where, you know, I think a lot of people are very optimistic about what it can do. Corey was not optimistic. Let's just put it that way. It was interesting to see.
I mean, and I'm not either. I think, you know, with now the route that NewTek is going. So NewTek is also a part of AIMS, which is an organization dedicated to promoting future standards of IP video. It's a loosely organized organization. NDI is a part of AIMS. AIMS is not a part of NDI, you know, or whatever. They're like trying to create a sort of faction to create what the to create the way forward for IP transport. And you know, the big boys are involved in AIMS. You've got 4A, you've got Sony, Panasonic. You've got a lot of buy-in there, and it will be a thing that has to come at some point, I believe, especially as we continue to grow higher. Currently, 12G is plenty to do 4K 60p, 12G baseband SDI video. There's also 24G products being introduced in Japan, especially for 8K broadcast video that's going on NHK and some of the other big broadcast outlets there. But for right now, I've seen one IP truck advertised, but I don't know anyone who's really doing IP video at a extremely high professional broadcast level.
we had to get that question out of the way because we got it, and we knew that I didn't see any NewTek products. I didn't see any NDI in use, but so we got that one out of the way. Let's go ahead and pull our giveaway. So we have a giveaway winner each week, and it looks like that we're ready to go ahead and pull a winner. So here we go over to winners, and we do this every week. You do have to be present in the chat room to win, and then we're going to go ahead and pull and roll our spin to win. So Robert Pekarski is going to get to spin the wheel if he's here. So what we'll do is, there's about a 30-second delay. And then I also wanted to mention that we have these amazing vMix mouse pads from NAB New York. And if somebody doesn't like whatever they won on the winning board, they can switch it to a mouse pad. We've got 12 of these. So for the next 12 weeks, we can be offering that as well. So Tess is going to go ahead and look in the chat room for that.
I'm waiting.
And I wanted to ask a newbie question. Sometimes people consider me like an expert, and then when I look at what you're doing, I am like, I have way too much to learn. I'm not even close. But what is it? This is going to sound really dumb. But what is an ME? You said you had a 2ME switcher. What is it? We saw a 4ME one at NAB New York, and we're just like, what is that? I don't get it.
Yeah, so every traditional switcher works with the program preview bus, which is the main bus on the bottom of the switcher, right? Okay. And then everything above that is what's called a mix effects bus. So ME stands for mix effects, and it allows you to composite sources together as well as to use it as an aux switcher on another layer. So let me walk you back into the control room. I can show you what that is, but in vMix you can just create virtual inputs and put whatever overlays and stuff like that you want on it. That doesn't exist in a hardware switcher. So if you see down here on the bottom, that's always the main bus or the preview program bus. Up here at the top is the ME bus, and you can switch between ME layers, whether it's ME1, ME2. And that each bus gives you a certain amount of DSKs, downstream keys, as well as upstream keys for you to bring in and composite graphics to open CG layers for Chiron, for lower thirds, things like that. And so that essentially is what an ME does. One of my biggest complaints about vMix is there is no aux switching. There is no ME layer that you could possibly create. Any traditional TD like myself would be, is missing that function. I mean, how often do you need to switch a screen on set or something like that? Not that easy with vMix. You have to hot punch inside a preview, send preview out of another output, or you have to hot route to another source to get you to switch a screen on set. So the more MEs you have, the more MEs you have, the more you can do with graphics, bringing in multicolors, things like that. Like, I don't know if you see on news where they have like 4 boxes of people. That's created with ME layers. That's not a virtual input. That's not something that is comped together ahead of time. Because in a hardware switcher environment, you want the reliability of everything being a hard patch. So, also ME layers are used for chroma keying as well. So you can have ME layers give you, in the sense of ATEM, you have built-in keyers as well as super source options inside of your ME layers. But there's a lot of positives and negatives between hardware and software switchers, I'm sure I could do hours on that alone.
Well, at least you explained what it is, because I'm like a big vMix nut, and I'm thinking, now I'm finally understanding why you would want to spend so much more money to get that. And what was that thinking? I would also like to see your lights and kind of go into. I think you kind of looked at it, but we didn't really dig into it. We're waiting for Drake Finney. He's almost always here. I'm so sad
because he was here earlier.
And he was here earlier, but it looks like he's not here. So it looks like we're gonna have to redraw a winner. We're gonna have to, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we can go ahead to the lights. We're just gonna keep picking winners until we got someone who's here.
Yeah, sure. You want to talk about the lights now, or pick another winner, and then we'll go?
We picked a winner, Stuart. Video has won. So is Stuart here?
Congrats,
I know
Stuart.
he was.
He's either on Facebook or YouTube, so we'll let you know, and then let's take a look at those. Oh, is he here? Drake's here. All right, Drake, we're gonna give Stuart 60 seconds to call, and if he doesn't come, then we'll revert back to Drake. Does that sound fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was a close one. We did
That
say we were
was.
gonna redraw, and like
This happens every
when I
time.
pressed enter on Stuart's name in the chat.
Because there is a lot of latency. So Stuart's here. All right, we're gonna have to go with Stuart.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
I'm so sorry. All right, so we're gonna have to go with Stuart. Let's roll the. Let's. Sorry, Drake. I know you were here, but it was just we only can give like so much time, just because we're on the line with someone from New York City. So, here we go. I'm gonna do it this time. Okay, Des?
Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll have better luck than I will.
We'll see. Here we go. Okay, so you won the vMix course on Udemy, so we have a whole course on vMix, or the vMix mousepad.
Let me know
Your
in the chat
choice.
which one you want to take, and we'll get that over to
All
you.
right, so
That mouse pad is sweet.
this is a sick mousepad. This is the USA version with the eagle.
Nice.
They're too funny.
Nice. Yeah,
All right.
so lighting in here. So we're a big fan of light panels Astros. We have a lot of light panels Astros in the studio. I think there's like 15 or so in the studio.
They're called Astros?
And then, yeah, the Astro 1x1s. Those are the latest light panel 1x1s that we use for a lot of talent light and stuff like that. Also, the big one that is lighting me right now is right there. That is a Sola 9. Which is also a light panel product. Let's see if I can show you what that looks like.
Yeah, we need to look.
That thing is massive. Yeah, so that's a
lighting
Fresnel. I really like Fresnels. I like Astros for backlights, edge lights. Give general washes to things and whatever. Occasionally on front lights from Talent, but I do like Fresnels. With diffusion for a lot of front light. And then we have a lot of atmospheric lighting, which are KinoFlow Select Freestyle. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Hang on. Why don't I just take you up on a ladder?
Uh-oh.
Be careful.
No, it's all right. Cool. So here we are.
This is what we want to see.
In the grid. So this is the KinoFlow Select LED Freestyle.
That's not what we were looking at yesterday, was it?
That is, a nice big panel.
And you're able to get two colors from that? Because I see red and blue in the background.
So I have another one over here.
Ah.
But hang on one second. Lost my earbud. Yeah, bring me right here so I can show them the interface. So yeah, let me show you how this works. So these Kino selects. Let me see.
Ooh, wow.
Oh.
I see the colored buttons kind
So
of.
it's upside down. Here, hang on. Let me go this way. Cool. So I don't know if you could tell what I'm showing you right now, but essentially you have Kelvin control, you have green and magenta control. You also have, I think it's like 300 built-in Roscoe gels that you can use inside of the light itself, or you can, which is like Kino's approximation of those Roscoe gels, and or are they Lee? I don't know. Anyway, whatever, color filters. And in addition to that, you could also do traditional like RGB DMX type of control. So those are the coolest things. If you're looking to add some color, some pop, for uplights, we like Chauvet Freedom Pars. which is what you see over my shoulder over here. Those are all Chauvet Freedom Power 4, which are battery powered. The batteries last like hours and hours and hours. They can also be plugged in and daisy chained off of one another. Those are full RGB, color controlled. They're nice for giving like curtain warmers or some uplights on set. But for hanging lights with color, especially for green screen and stuff like that, you could put a chroma green filter on those Kino Select Freestyle RGB LEDs and make it very easy to, I could turn this white into a green screen, you know.
Really?
Tell you what. Yeah, why don't I show you what that looks like? So I'm up here because I actually dismantled the I dismantled the DMX system this week. I got to put it back together.
I noticed the rack on the ceiling.
There's a rack on the ceiling.
Just that's how they're connecting all the
lights.
Oh yeah, our
to
grid.
The ceiling. It's a grid.
Yeah, we had a grid, 4-wall, very prominent company.
Look at his
here
tattoo
in New York.
Yeah, it's a camera.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Paul,
that
you
little
should get a
record
camera
button.
tattoo. You should get...
Ah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So I will show you through. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn off the house lights here, and I'm gonna walk through the different colors that we can get with this system.
Yeah, wow.
See if I can prop this up. Yeah, why don't I do that? I'm gonna prop this up over here.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
And that'll make it easier.
The other question I have for him, he can't hear us, his headphones are out, but... Oh, wow. I'd like to ask him to show us kind of like what the set would look like with real people in it, kind of, like through the window, kind of.
Oh, look. He's doing it.
Whoa. Oh, my.
Look at that.
Make your background look whatever you want.
Interesting.
He almost had it. Very cool.
So we're getting some questions in the chat room. A lot of people are clarifying what you're saying because, like you said, DMX, and sometimes we have some of the people who know a lot about this stuff are explaining what that actually is in the chat room. It's a control for the lights and brightness of the lights.
Yeah. So DMX system it's what theaters use. It's what broadcast studios use to control the lighting grid, and you can change intensity, you can change focus cues as well as color. Color is the biggest thing. Intensity is biggest, and then followed by color with any RGB controllable LED.
So we had someone ask if you could kind of give us a view from the producer's perspective. Like, I don't know if you can do that or not, but like kind of imagine like what is your like controllability from outside the studio, like looking in.
Sure. Yeah, so
you obviously have
bring you
control
over
of the cameras and stuff and the lights.
Yeah, I'll bring you over to the control room.
Mike's asking for a price estimate on the light.
On the light, I think they're about $2,500 a piece or so.
Okay.
Yeah. Select.
Oh. Is that real brick?
Yeah.
2,700.
Okay.
2,700 for the lights. For those Kino lights. They're definitely, there's those and the Divas. The freestyles are really cool because they can come off completely. They also come with louvers and barn doors and egg crates and stuff like that, but we don't typically use those in that studio environment. So yeah, back in the control room here. Obviously behind me I have my racks my routers where I can route signal wherever it needs to go. So from producer director's perspective, they'd be sitting in this area. And we typically will have DMX control over on this computer for lighting cues. And then I'm sitting at the switcher, which also I have control of my Vantage robotic camera system right here. And let me go. Yeah, so playing right now is our Vergecast at CES live show that we did. We did a week of shows at CES for The Verge on Twitter. But yeah, this is essentially what the operator would be working with when they're running a live show. So in here is the Vantage system where I can select between cameras and control them remotely. And then let me open ATEM back up. So inside of ATEM, there's a little bit of glare there. Let's see if I can show you that a little better. People have probably seen ATEM before, but inside of ATEM we have media stores, we have audio control, as well as our camera control. Again, one of the coolest things about camera control is that up here I have right above my switcher, I have a DaVinci Resolve micro panel to be able to control the lift, gamma, gain, our color wheels for creating a cool look for whatever show I'm going after. And then also our comms panel up here. I'll have this headset on, or the gooseneck mics that we have to put in here. I can talk to talent. I can talk on stage announce if crew's in there and not on belt packs. I can talk to my belt packs with our ClearCom Free Speak system, which is a 4-channel wireless comm system that we have. And then so up top, let me go roll forward here so we can see what this looks like. So yeah, up top I have speakers for program audio. I have the 2 multi-views. Typically, while we're in a show, the one on this side will become a full program monitor, big for people to see. But they're like Vizios. They're not that color accurate. Our color accurate monitor is the Sony OLED production monitor, 10-bit monitor. And then there is, I believe right now, all these screens in here are all routable. So every screen in here, I can route whatever source I want to them. You want to do that when building a studio. It kind of helps a lot. This other smaller multi-view right here is actually the multi-view for the 1ME for the second ME. So yeah, that's essentially what the operator is looking at. There's the window of the studio itself that you saw from the other side, as well as our on-air lights, which everyone loves. So yeah, that's basically what the operator's looking at.
That is such a cool. So the window is really just for the cameras to shoot through, not for people to actually look through?
No, it's for people. So clients typically, when they're here watching, a production, like we don't want a bunch of people in the studio, right? Because they could be loud, they could trip, they could drop something, whatever. But if it's really nice to have your clients like right next to the control room, be able to look in on the studio. Also, we can set up props, and we can use we have the ability to put a film over this and do rear projection onto this window as well. For us to be able to create graphics in the window itself. And also, like we did on last year's Mr. Robot after show that we did at Fox, this is where we got the idea. We can put, we can get for custom printed for each show a vinyl clear frosted film that we can roll over that window to, and we could shoot light at the back of it, and it can create like a cool like newsroom effect or something of that nature. So just having the window to shoot against is a really unique feature of the studio that I pushed pretty hard for, and Corey was 100% on board with it. We love the way it turned out. So
Yeah, the pictures of your studio, it just looks so amazing. It's like the pictures look so good. I don't know how you made the pictures
everyone
look so
go
good.
to LiveX TV, livex.tv/studio, I believe it is,
Yes.
and you'll get to see the livex.tv/studio. Sorry, I'm like lead engineer here, not the. Oh, sorry. Go to LiveX TV. LiveX.tv and click on LiveX Studio at the top, and then you can see some stuff, the layouts, the diagrams, some photos of our studio in action, and everything that we offer there. I will also mention that one of the big things that we have, in addition to our dedicated fiber circuit, we have a dedicated hardline Ethernet. We have two internet service providers. One is Fios, and the other is a dedicated Verizon hardline that comes straight from the Google building to here. That is ours. We have an SLA agreement with Verizon on uptime on that, and no one else is on that line. Whereas public internet is used by everyone in your building, and you're allotted your certain amount of bandwidth. And if something goes down on the block, so to speak, then everyone could lose internet or whatever. We have a dedicated SLA redundant Ethernet system with Verizon so we'll make sure to get the video out. And a lot of our shows are encoded primary and backup using both internet service providers to make sure that we have a clean, smooth encode to get the show out.
Wow. And someone was asking like a random question about
a product, HD-60S by Elgato, streaming to YouTube. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Elgato is a gaming company for the most part. I have heard of them. They do a lot in gaming, like video game. Twitch players are really big on Elgato products. I've never personally used them. I know that they do boast a pretty good price point, as well as a very high spec, like 1080 60p. That's very valuable to gamers. I'm not sure about this specific one that he's talking about, or she, but hey, if you like it, use it. I mean, we like Teradek T-Rack systems, as well as cubes, bonds, and vMix for encoding, and then our bigger boys, we have high vision encoder, we have an elemental. I mean, we got everything that MLB Advanced Media and NBC and every other big boy out there has. We have the ability to encode on similar hardware. So, it just depends on the level of your production and what the production calls for. They're all good. They all have their uses. Some are more useful than others. For instance, like the big advantage of going with a Ferrari, like the Elemental systems, which is now owned by AWS, is if you're using an AWS edge network or something to deliver your content, you have that marriage of staying inside the compendium. Also, they can do HLS, RTMP, RTSP. They can do SDM, as well as pretty much any flavor. They can archive, they can record, and we can send those. We have an LTO system here. We do all our archiving on LTO tape. We aren't messing around. Right. So yeah, if you guys have it, I know we probably have a lot more questions and things. Anyone can feel free to email me, rob@livex.tv. Or you can give us a call anytime to talk through your next production. Our phone number is 844-GO-LiveX, and we're happy to. We love helping people, even if it doesn't mean like they're going to spend a lot of money with us or hire us or anything like that. So feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have. I am an active producer-director, so if I don't get back to you right away, it may take me a couple of days or whatever. I promise I will email you back and get back to you.
Awesome. It's so good to have you guys because I'm like a big believer in this is like non-related to video production, but like kind of like going as far as you can in an opposite direction to kind of divide boundaries and see where you can go. And I feel like you've really taken us, like we've literally been from like a guy who took a $5,000 Dodge van and, you know, made it into a video production system that he drives out in Michigan to football games, like high school football
That's
level
awesome.
games. So from there to like people that bought there was a university in Oregon who has one PTZOptics camera, a laptop, and Wirecast, and what he spent all his money on was like a really expensive $10,000 a tripod that goes up 20 feet so that he can do soccer games. So we've gone from all the way from there all the way to like literally the only 4K live production system in New York City. So it's really amazing. I think from here, we're pretty much now we've got to like fill in the middle, I think, for everything else.
Exactly. It's important to us to show all sides of the spectrum and hopefully give everybody looking to, you know, make their own play an idea that's within their realm or something to look to for the future. So this was really great. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. You know, Corey, I was working on a show yesterday, and Corey reached out to me and said, "Hey, could you do this thing?" And I said, "Sure, absolutely." So we're glad. We're happy to show it off. Obviously, we're really proud of what we built here, and yeah, we appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, and you were a great host, so we'll be sure to tell Corey that too. This was great.
Thanks so much,
All right,
Rob.
thanks,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone in the chat room. I think everyone is pretty much stunned at this point, so wake up out of your coma. This really did just happen. And we'll roll the credits. Thanks so much, Rob. Whew. That was a fun show.
That was good.
Thank you.